really not see this coming? That guy was speaking facts.
You ever seen those videos, and I'm going to speak to New York City, I come from New York City. Have you ever seen those videos that pop up from the subway where you'll see a woman being harassed on the subway by I don't know who, and there's a bunch of guys just sitting there watching and they don't do anything about it? Yeah. What do you think is causing that trend, particularly in cities like New York City and Los Angeles, among men?
I think this whole teaching boys that they're equal to women and women that they're equal to boys doesn't help. I think that men, by and large, and this, if any man hears this and isn't just upset, I don't know what you are then, because men are just weaker than we were before, statistically speaking.
This is
when you go to a bar, who's supposed to buy women drinks? Men are. Do you see that as often as like years and years ago? All costs.
I get all that, man, to protect.
Even
that,
when
blah,
girls
blah,
are
blah.
fighting with each other, like, it is so ugly. It is the ugliest thing that there is men around and they're not doing anything.
But why do you think men don't do that anymore? Because they used to do that before, but why do you think they don't do that anymore? They stopped doing that.
Why do you think you're a man? You tell me.
First of all, good question. The reason I think, men, we don't do it anymore because you guys don't respect us anymore.
Okay.
Second, you guys don't need us anymore. I don't need a man. I'm a strong woman, independent. You're the independent, you're strong. What do you need me for? What do you complain to me not protecting when you already have everything that you want? I'm a buck. What do you need me for?
I think
Ever wondered why men hesitate to intervene when two women are fighting? This conundrum has been a topic of heated debate and discussion among men and women alike. A month ago, we delved into the topic of why men don't want to help modern women, and your responses were both insightful and thought-provoking. Scrolling through the comments last night, I noticed that about 2% of you voiced concerns about the potential for false accusations or mistreatment if you were to step in and help. Now, these fears aren't just figments of imagination. Think about the story of the man who was sued by a woman he saved from drowning. He was accused of touching her without consent. Staggering, isn't it? While such incidents are rare, they are not unheard of. The fact that they can and do happen intensifies the fear and reluctance among men to get involved, especially when two women are fighting. The question then arises, is it worth the risk for men? The modern woman often identifies as being strong and independent. Phrases like, "I don't need a man," are commonplace. So, when two women are embroiled in a fight, why isn't the other woman stepping in? Why does the responsibility fall to the man nearby? If these women are as self-reliant as they claim, shouldn't they be able to resolve their conflicts without male intervention? And let's not forget the boyfriends. From my observations, more women claim to have a boyfriend than men who admit having a girlfriend. So when two women are fighting, why isn't her boyfriend stepping in to de-escalate the situation? Could it be that he is too preoccupied with other pursuits or simply finds the spectacle entertaining? Stepping into a fight between two women can easily be misconstrued as a man participating in the fight, an act that can lead to serious consequences. He could be arrested, labeled as a perpetrator, or worse. It's a risk many men are understandably unwilling to take. These fears, although rare, are not imaginary and pose a risk for men. Often we hear women claim to be strong and independent, and that they don't need no man. These statements are empowering, echoing a sentiment of self-reliance and courage in the face of adversity. Yet, when two women are locked in a heated fight, where is this strength and independence? Why do we not see the other woman stepping in to break up the fight, to embody the strength she so proudly claims to possess? Why is it expected that a man should intervene, risking his personal safety, when the women involved seem to abandon their own assertions of independence at the crucial moment? Moreover, let's consider another angle. In many cases, these women are in relationships. So, where are their boyfriends during these confrontations? If they're the stereotypical Chads or Tyrones, are they too busy with their own escapades to step in and de-escalate the situation? Or are they standing on the sidelines, finding entertainment in the spectacle rather than intervening to protect their partner? The contradiction is glaring. On one hand, we have the independent woman, strong and self-reliant, yet when the situation calls for courage and intervention, this independence seems to evaporate. On the other hand, we have their boyfriends, who are either conveniently absent or passively entertained, leaving the responsibility to intervene to other men present. This scenario begs the question, why should men risk themselves if the women themselves or their boyfriends don't intervene? Why should they shoulder the responsibility and potential consequences of intervening in a situation that doesn't directly involve them? And why should they be expected to step in when the so-called strong and independent women or their boyfriends choose not to? These are the questions that men grapple with when faced with the paradox of the independent woman. It's a complex issue with no clear-cut answers, but it's an important conversation to have. After all, it's not about assigning blame or dodging responsibility, but about understanding the dynamics at play and addressing the contradictions that exist. Why should men risk themselves if the women themselves or their boyfriends don't intervene? When a man steps in during a fight, it can easily be misconstrued. This is a reality that many men are all too aware of. The line between a peacemaker and a participant can become blurry, especially in the heat of the moment. Imagine a scenario where two women are engaged in a heated argument. A man decides to intervene, hoping to calm the situation and prevent it from escalating further. However, his actions could be easily misinterpreted. He could be seen as an instigator, a participant, or even an attacker. The situation could spiral quickly. One of the women might claim that the man is attacking her or her friend. Suddenly, the man who had good intentions finds himself in handcuffs, accused of assault, and facing serious legal repercussions. This is not an imaginary fear. There are countless cases where men have faced false accusations after trying to intervene in a situation. The impact of such accusations can be devastating. It can lead to a damaged reputation, loss of job, and even time behind bars. Furthermore, there's also the potential for physical harm. Fights can be unpredictable and dangerous. When a man steps in to break up a fight, he puts himself at risk of injury. He could be hit, kicked, or worse. He might end up in the hospital, all because he tried to do the right thing. And let's not forget the psychological toll. The stress and anxiety of being involved in a violent situation, the fear of potential legal repercussions, and the trauma of physical injury can have long-lasting effects on a man's mental health. So, when you put it all together, the potential for false accusations, legal trouble, physical harm, and psychological distress, it's clear why many men are hesitant to intervene in a fight between two women. The risk is simply too great. It's not about being uncaring or dismissive. It's about self-preservation. Men understand that their good intentions could be misconstrued, and they could end up paying a hefty price. Getting arrested for playing hero is not a risk many men are willing to take. Sometimes what appears to be a fight may be a trap. The world is full of surprises, and not all of them are pleasant. Take for instance the scenario of two women engaged in a heated argument or even a physical altercation. It seems like a situation that may require intervention. But what if it's a setup? What if it's a carefully orchestrated act, a deception designed to lure in unsuspecting men? Consider this potential scenario. A man steps in, trying to play the peacemaker. He's focused on de-escalating the situation. His attention is completely absorbed. But while he's distracted, he might not notice the group of people stealthily approaching him from behind. Before he knows it, he's the victim of a robbery. His wallet, his phone, perhaps even his car keys, all gone in the blink of an eye. What seemed like a noble act of intervention turns into a regrettable incident of personal loss. And it doesn't stop at theft. The deception can take a more sinister turn. Imagine the man steps in to break up the fight, only for the women to suddenly turn on him, accusing him of instigating violence or misbehaving. He went in with good intentions, but now he's facing potential legal consequences. The mere allegation, regardless of its validity, can tarnish the man's reputation. It can affect his personal relationships, his career prospects, and his mental health. It's a high price to pay for trying to do what seemed like the right thing. Let's be clear, these scenarios are not the norm, and they represent an extreme end of what could happen. But the fact remains that they could happen, and for some men, the potential for such disastrous outcomes makes the idea of intervening in a women's fight highly unappealing. This isn't to say that all men should stand back and do nothing when they witness a fight. It's about understanding that every situation carries a different set of risks. Men, like anyone else, have the right to assess those risks and decide their course of action accordingly. Again, the risk-reward ratio is not in favor of men intervening. Sometimes, men simply don't see it as their responsibility to intervene. After all, picture the scene: a bar buzzing with energy, music pulsating, drinks flowing. Suddenly, a commotion breaks out. Two women are in a heated argument, which quickly escalates into a full-blown fight. What does the average man do? He likely steps back, maybe even grabs another round. Why? Because for some, this unexpected event transforms into a form of entertainment. We humans are naturally drawn to drama. It's the reason we watch reality TV, read tabloids, and can't look away from a car crash. We're curious creatures, and when something out of the ordinary happens, we're inclined to watch. This fight, for many men, becomes an unexpected spectacle, a break from the norm. It's a story to recount to friends later, a memory to chuckle over. Why would they step in and stop the show, especially when they can enjoy it with a cold beer in hand? But it's not just about the entertainment value, it's also about responsibility, or rather, the lack thereof. Men are not bouncers, peacekeepers, or mediators by default. They're at the bar to unwind after a long week, to catch up with friends, to enjoy their Friday or Saturday night. Why should they risk their safety, their reputation, or potentially their freedom to break up a fight that they didn't start and doesn't involve them? And if the fight is over something trivial, something that might seem silly or inconsequential to an onlooker, the desire to intervene lessens even more. It's not their drama, not their circus, not their monkeys. Why should they get involved? In essence, a combination of entertainment value and a sense of "it's not my job" can often deter men from stepping into women's fights. Men aren't paid to break up fights, especially when they're out to enjoy their night. If you're still with us, we appreciate your interest and patience. We've delved into some deep waters today, peering into the often murky world of social dynamics. But now, we need your help. If you found this video insightful, if it made you think, or even if it simply entertained you for a few minutes, we ask you to take action. Don't just stand on the sidelines, be a part of the conversation, smash that like button, let us know you're engaged. Subscribe and hit the bell notification so you never miss our deep dives into the complexities of human behavior. And finally, if you believe this video could spark important conversations or maybe even change perspectives, share it. Share it with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Every share, every like, every subscription, it all helps us continue to produce content that matters. We thank you for your support and for being a part of our community. Until next time, remember, we're all just trying to understand each other a little better. Thanks for watching and supporting our channel.